We on? We up?
One. Is it on yet? Oh yeah, it says live.
Welcome, Philly Uncensored Sports Podcast. We here back at y'all with another video live in effect after a huge Sixers victory. Game 2, we up 2-0. I knew it was coming. I told y'all I expect a sweep. But before we get to that, real quick, if you don't catch the live show, you can catch us on our new couple platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, and iTunes. And also, after the first round, it's a free T-shirt giveaway. All you got to do is do what? Like. You got to like on Instagram, right?
Twitter, the tweeter.
All right.
Yeah.
Somebody turn their thing down.
When y'all turn y'all joint down.
We already know who it is.
Ethan, can you turn that down so we can
That ain't me.
Wayne, turn it down,
It ain't
please.
me. I don't even got. I'm just.
Tim,
right here
turn it down,
All right, it
please.
was me. Go ahead.
All right, but we're here after a huge Sixers victory, score 120-95, a 25-point spanking. I knew it was coming. I mean, I'm gonna give my thoughts real quick. I love the way Ben. I'm gonna give Ben props. I love the way he started this game from the rip. And this is what I always said about Ben. Remember I said before, I said he's a walking mismatch. This is the disappointment on why, to me, he's not, and why I say he disappoints me sometimes, because he doesn't take advantage of the mismatch. He's a mismatch every night. Every night he's a mismatch against his opposing guard. So he had, as soon as the game started, Westbrook jumped on him. He took Westbrook right in the weight room. Boop, 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 2 easy points. It was a consistent theme throughout the night. He took Bradley Beal, the same thing in the paint. Boom, got him. So, I mean, he did his thing. He did what I think we all want to see him do in the playoffs. And he did, and if y'all notice, to me, with him playing like that, open up the whole offense for everybody. It made stuff so much easier. Our offense never looked as fluid as it did with him playing that style of ball. I loved it, honestly. I mean, Tobias, everybody looked open. Everybody was moving. Seth was getting grooving. B got his shots later on. Everybody, it just fit for everybody the way he played the game, because it made defenders respect them more. So it opened up everything. We opened up the game early on. By the fourth quarter, it was over.
Yeah.
Let me get my little 2 cents in, because I got a bad internet connection because of this storm. I don't know how long it's gonna last. Listen, Ben he heard the talk. I told y'all before this game, Ben heard the talk, and he's gonna try to score. Didn't I said that? I said he's gonna try to score the ball as much as possible. And he did. He hears the talk. We always, all these athletes always try to act like, I don't listen to the media. I don't hear nothing the fans say. I don't even have a radio in my car. You know, they always try to kick all that. They hear it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Everybody got social media. Everybody got Instagram, Twitter, all that. They hear it. And he wanted to let everybody know he could do what he want to do on a basketball court. And good for him. Good for him. He needs to be more aggressive for this team to win. I hope he can keep it up.
I don't think it's because he heard what people been saying this all year. It ain't affect how he played. What I saw happen in the game was the Wizards had this idea that they were just going to one-on-one Ben Simmons instead of dropping down help to help him. In the other game, they was dropping down help, leaving people wide open whenever he went anywhere near the paint. In this game, they left him isolated on Bradley Beal for whatever reason. I guess they figured, well, Ben can't shoot. Ben ain't going to shoot. And Ben went to work and gave him the business in the post. And then,
like it was like that the last game too, though.
No, it wasn't. No, that's why he had 15 assists last game, because they kept even. It wasn't. So
for most people play Ben straight up all year. Who double teams Ben?
No, they do. When Ben Simmons drives to the lane, you don't get. That's just like for real. In a couple of those plays, when Bradley Beal came over and took the charge on him, Ben was going against the one guy, and then Beal slid in there and took the charge. People do that to Ben all the time.
I'm talking about when he's getting the post. You're talking about he driving. I'm talking about when he's playing.
But he got a lot of his points off of driving, though. He got a lot of points. He started to drive down there, and then once he set up down there, and a lot of times even when he get on the block, they do sit sit there and sit around and send some help. And he throws it out to open 3-point shooters. That's all I'm saying with that. I mean, I get it. I agree. I'm glad he was aggressive with it. But I thought that Washington opened themselves up to it because they figured, okay, he wants to pass.
Wayne trying to kill me. Tim, I know you want to get in.
Okay, then you get
I know we had a format.
Right. Ben, every time. He was aggressive. What he doesn't do, he needs to do that. That's great to see.
He had 15 assists the first game because they was leaving dudes wide open. This game, they tried to play out, not give the open shots, and they let Ben go one-on-one, and Ben took advantage of it.
Ben was one-on-one last game.
No, he
All
wasn't.
right, so I'm just going to jump in because y'all just selfish.
You better get in.
Turn to him, but you know how he begged to go second, and then he gonna go on and then interrupt me as I'm talking about my part, right?
But look,
you talking.
all I want to say is before we watched the game, somebody said he was like, guarantee we gonna lose this game. I ain't gonna say who
said that.
I'm gonna say who it was. The same person interrupting people.
Who said it?
So somebody came out and said we was gonna lose.
You said we gonna lose the series, let alone the game.
I never said that. I never said that.
Yes, he did. He did say the series.
He said we mess around and lose this series. Yes, you did.
I never said that.
You gotta give
this series was never in
okay.
doubt.
I will screenshot the polo chat. Don't make me do it.
Do it.
All right, y'all made your point. Ben Simmons, we got to give him his respect. He almost had a triple double in 3 quarters of play. In 3 quarters of play, he almost had a triple double. But you know what? He did something, and it automatically made me think of Ephraim. When he took a quick shot in the first quarter, he shot it with his right hand. And I was like, that's his natural hand. It's like instinctively, he went and shot the ball. It was a jump shot. He missed it. But when he wasn't thinking, when he just automatically took that shot, he shot it with his right hand. I was like, dang, this boy might be right as far as he shoot with the wrong hand. Because he just rewired his brain. But you got to give that man his props. He took advantage of the situation. Washington came up with this game plan like, we're not going to let Joel beat us. So Joel only had like 2 points in the first quarter. But what happened was they didn't expect Joel was making that quick pass again. He was passing that ball real fast, get it out to the open man, and he did well. And who took advantage of it? My young boy, Ben Simmons. So I'm proud. I have y'all can't say nothing about him. Y'all was
Can I ask a question now? Do we have a big 3 or no? We still don't have a big 3?
I mean, our big 2.5 really did their thing tonight. I mean, our big 2 and the third. The third stepped up. Listen, I'm not. I mean, he is part of the big 3. If you say our big 3, Ben is the part of the big 3. I'm still not ready to crown him as like an official big 3 yet. I'm still not. But if he plays like this, continues out the playoffs, yeah, I'll tip my hat to him. I'll give him his props. But let's go back to Ethan real quick because Ethan, you're getting called out a little bit. That Negro says, let's not forget that Ethan said this series will go for 6 games. So, I mean,
it ain't going 6.
I said 5 or 6. I did.
It's not. The best chance Washington had to win was game 1. It's going to be 2 games in the series. It's going to be
the best chance they got to win is home. The first game at home.
Listen, I'm about to say it's going to be game 1 and game 3, and they not winning game 3. They didn't win game 1. They ain't getting game 3. And once we go up 3-0, it's a wrap. It's over. I'm telling you. So, and the reason why is Westbrook can't shoot. It's the reason why I told y'all. He's a great player with a major flaw in his game. He cannot shoot. It's not that he don't shoot. Now we got Ben and we talking about he don't shoot, blah, blah, blah. But Westbrook can't shoot at all. He's terrible at it. And that causes you games, especially in the playoffs, when you're not getting the foul calls that you want. When the defenders get better, when you talk about Thibault and Ben and the whole team collectively is better, that thing get tight. And if you can't shoot, you're gonna get exposed every time.
But I don't think that none of us said that he could shoot. I think don't mix the whole argument we was making was Nash better than Westbrook. Which one had a better career? I wasn't saying that Westbrook was this great player, that was dominant player that could shoot and was going to carry a team doing this, that, and other.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You didn't say that, but you was.
The argument was which one had a better career, Nash or Westbrook. So now we can have that conversation later, but that's what the argument was. It wasn't that Westbrook was this great player that was going to carry them this, that.
Westbrook is your man. You put your cape on for him.
I said
Westbrook into the building, and now he got exposed. And I told you that.
It ain't my man, because I've been saying I don't even like Westbrook like that. But Westbrook had a better career than Nash.
You had a Westbrook jersey. You had a Westbrook jersey and Westbrook hat.
I know one of y'all brought up Thibault, and y'all got to give Thibault his props too. The boy had 5 blocks today. He was all over the place. This boy was incredible. His defense, he may go down as the best defender on our squad right now.
We got to shout the young boy out too, because Maxey was on the offense and defense.
Oh yeah, he had a couple blocks.
It looked like he was still in Shake Milton minutes. They put Shake down.
I'm done with Shake. I'm done with
Shake. What's up with What's the word on my grandma ankles?
I don't know, Grandma Curry, Greg. I don't know. I ain't hear nothing.
Please don't disrespect that man like
Jordan M. Peck says that Thibault's our best defender. If he was a starter, he would have won Defensive Player of the Year. And I actually agree with him.
Only thing I say, see, that's a slippery slope though, because you say if somebody was a starter. So you saying like if somebody played those starter minutes, would they be able to be as intense playing it? That's why we give somebody like Green so much props for playing defense, because he plays these yeoman minutes or yeoman whatever minutes, and he still plays defense like that.
But I never see him tired on a quarter or anything with 20 minutes. He don't look like
I get that, but because he's not playing those minutes, you can't just I get what they're saying, but I'm just saying when you talk about playing minutes and having to do other things on the court other than just play defense, it takes something out of you. The same way B, it takes out of B because B got to carry us offensively.
No, I agree with that, but I mean, like Tim said, I mean, he high energy dude. Like I don't think his game would change. I don't think that would take away from what he do. I mean, it may take away offensively, but that's his niche. He looked like he loved playing defense. If he was in the NFL, he'd be a cornerback or a safety or something. He loved playing defense.
Looking at Washington, man, really looking at them now, because you don't really look at a lot of teams. They really a one-man show. They're a one-man show. Unless the ball big trend, but trans what's the ball?
Westbrook, the reason why they got into the playoffs is because of Westbrook.
Westbrook stinks.
Exactly. And the reason why they're going to be out the playoffs is because of Westbrook. The only reason why
they're in the playoffs right now is because of Westbrook.
And the only reason why they're going to
when it was a one-man show, when Bill was doing that scoring, they was losing. I mean, Bill was getting off. Remember, he scored 60 against us one time. He had like
hold on. Let's be clear. Westbrook is a little. They're in the 8th seed. They're in the 8th seed. You act like they're in the 5th or 6th seed. They're in the 8th seed.
But they weren't in the 8th seed until Westbrook.
Westbrook, they was in the 10th and 9th before that. Westbrook helped a little bit to get them up to the 8th spot. But
he's nobody one-man team.
Listen, nobody's saying that. This is my point again.
They're a one-man team.
Nobody's saying they're not. Westbrook isn't a great player all around.
Your brother just said it's a one-man team. So
I agree. Once you get to the playoffs, yes, you are. With him, you are, because he can't shoot.
He had 10 points tonight.
The defense gets tighter, the defenders get better, and his jump shots get worse. This is what I'm telling you. I watch Westbrook all the time. We all watch Westbrook. We know what he is. He high energy. He got hops out the building. He slash. He can pass. He like to try to set balls up. He's been doing that great. But when you can't shoot, it shows a major deficiency for your game, and it exposes the rest of your team. And that's what's happening to Washington. That's why I was confident we was going to sweep. It's no doubt in my mind. If we don't sweep Washington, I'm going to be disappointed. But we are going to sweep. So we good. It's an excellent win. Applaud that man Westbrook for helping us win. That's all I'm saying.
He has no jump shot in his ninth. What's his 9th year in the league? And he just have no
he pump fakes a 3 like somebody's going to jump. If anybody jumps for his 3-pointer, I'm cutting him.
I know. I agree with that.
I agree.
Nobody
like that too. It was a little nutty at the end when he got hurt and the fans dumped popcorn on him. I ain't like that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. That was out of pocket.
That was out of pocket.
I don't like that goofiness. I don't like that goofiness at all. I think they said
that's a professional athlete playing hard for his team, man. You don't do that, man.
And for the fans, I mean, and he's here to. All in all, we talk about players and we call them, some garbage and some, deficiencies. But at the end of the day, they are here to entertain. So I'm entertained either way. Westbrook, what I will say, that putback dunk he had was nasty at one point. I think it was like in the third quarter, a little before he got hurt. But what I did like about that series of ball, right? Westbrook had a nice putback dunk, and then the very next play, Ben came down and dunked it like, no, that's my punk. Yes, that's what I like to see. That got me hyped. For the first time this whole year, I was hyped about Ben Simmons.
that was a nice
took advantage of the situation. That I am curious what he's going to do against taller defenders, because him and Tobias, they do kind of suffer when it comes to taller defenders, but they take advantage of the mismatches, which I appreciate. But I want to see.
I mean, everybody does. That's why Ben's a good defender, because he's tall.
But that's
not the only reason why he's a good defender. He's also just a really good defender.
It is only because if he wasn't, he'd be Pat Beverly.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's I'm gonna say great defender because of his height and athleticism. Yeah, the height has a lot to do with it.
It does. So he's still a good defender. He does put a lot of effort into.
He does, but that height makes a difference. No matter what, when people try to say height doesn't make a difference, it does make a difference on how you judge people and what you and how they perform. But another person I got to give some props to too is Dwight Howard. Like we gotta get Dwight his props. Like he ain't do a whole lot on the score tips, but on the board and being physical inside. And this is and remember, this is what we were saying about the Sixers last year. Well, I know at least I was with last year. And remember, I kept saying bully ball. And they was talking about they was going to come in and play bully ball. And then Brett got back to that same system where they jacking threes.
About that. Yep.
This year, this is what I expected from them last year. The bully ball. You have a size advantage on most teams. You do that. You use that. Whoever the small man on, attack him in the post.
But this is why I said I was so mad at, once again, I hate to keep saying this, but this is why I was so mad at Ben. Ben has the biggest disadvantage on most nights. Every time, not every time, but more often than not, the advantage is going to roll Ben Simmons' way over Tobias and over B. So if you got the mismatch, this is what you should have been doing. Take these dudes. Now, what I will say is sometimes, and we talked about this, sometimes B irritates me because Ben be in there posting up like, and B to try to take a shot or he won't even pass it to him. That kind of irritates me. He got to work a little better with knowing how to feed Ben in the post when he's hovering about the three or the mid-range area. He gotta feed Ben a little better in that post. But I mean, Ben he had no business tonight. He was one of the main reasons why we went up and we stayed up.
He was a plus 18 and B was a plus 19. Curry was a plus 19. If he just for some reason he got to take a break every game and just go in the back.
The funny thing, look at the minutes they played.
Wait a minute, how much?
19 points.
What was Curry?
Points, 9 rebounds in 23 minutes.
Curry was 1 for 4.
What was Curry from 3 tonight?
1 for 4.
That wasn't good. We didn't shoot that many threes. Oh, we shot 21. That's not really that many in this NBA. Surprisingly enough, I mean, I think how many threes we normally average a game? We shot 42% overall from 3, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
B was huge.
Though, when we're playing that bully ball, we don't have to shoot as many threes. I think the Sixers have a good enough team where they could take what the defense gives us. And to your point, Ephraim, like what you're saying about Ben, and this is my point that I make about Ben. I get it. Like you know how sometimes y'all say, well, don't nobody got double team Ben, but Ben draws attention down there when he's driving. Because in the same breath, remember, y'all also say when Ben drives, they're going to just put that wall up so he can't drive. So if they're putting a wall up, you're putting bodies in there to put that wall up. And that's why they get the shooters. And that's why you need Seth and you need Danny and these guys that are the shooters. If they're hitting and Toby, if they're hitting from outside, then the Sixers with Ben and B drawing attention on the inside. Now tonight, they didn't give that wall against Ben. They basically just let him go one-on-one and he took advantage. Yep. And I'm glad he did because he don't always take advantage of it when it's that one-on-one. I agree with that. I think a lot of that is based off the fact that, like you said, they was daring him to shoot. If you look at Ben historically throughout the year, he don't take advantage of that. A lot of times, once you kind of get in his way, he'd do the little pump fake thing, look around, then he'd kick it back out. So I think they was daring him to. And I hope, I got a sneaky suspicion that when Doc and them and whoever Sam Cassell, when they came with the game plan, they told him, you got that mismatch, you take it. Don't play around with the ball and look to pass it. Take the shot. So he took the shot. We were successful. He was 73% from the field.
I have one criticism right now is Doc in the end of the first quarter, he went to that all bench lineup again. And it almost
you said the first?
The last minute of the first quarter, the bench, it was an all bench lineup, and they played until like 5 or 6 minutes to the second quarter.
I hear that. I think hold up. He's got Seth in there all the way to the.
This the only thing I said.
Right? He put Korkmaz in for him. When
they do that bench lineup, but when the Sixers did that bench lineup, who did Washington have? They still had Beal in there, or they still had they had starters still in there. So that's what I'm saying. Like when we talk about the Sixers' depth, like they're not as deep as I would like them to be. But then again, if Maxi's going to play like this, like he's playing, and George Hill had a solid game, and Dwight's playing the way that he's playing. We do have depth, and Washington, in order for them to be in the game, had to play Bill and Westbrook a whole lot. And then when you play them a whole lot in the second half, when you bring in now your starters come in where they done sit down and rested some, and they coming in a little fresh.
I mean, let's be honest. Washington's just not a good team.
Nope.
Well, why did you think it was going to take us 6 games to beat them?
I said 5
that's
or
what
6.
I'm trying to tell you.
Why you say 5 or 6?
Because I thought Bill might scorch up hot and get us with one. I thought what's his name? Bill and the white boy can shoot. Garton, what's his name? Berton. He scorched us one game in the regular season, so I thought they might scorch up one and get us. They still might scorch up at home. They might have that adrenaline flowing. They might scorch up one and get us.
You was a typical scared Phillies fan. I told you this series is over. It's been over before it started.
Just because you hold on, relax, my guy. Just because you lose just because you lose one game don't mean you scared of this. I never said the series was in doubt. Just because you lose a game in the series don't mean it's in doubt.
You didn't say we might lose this series? You didn't say we might lose this game?
If somebody loses one game in the series, that means the series in doubt?
No.
Did you say before the series we might lose Washington?
No, but I'm trying to tell you.
Did you say no, wait. Let him answer. Did you say we might lose to Washington?
No, I didn't.
Boy.
I don't remember. Like that? No, he said that's what he said.
No. He said it. It's in the Polo chat. I'm telling you, it's in there.
I don't remember him saying. I remember him saying that about the Pacers. He said we might lose to the Pacers if the Pacers was healthy. That's the team I think I remember him saying, but I don't remember him saying we're gonna lose to Washington.
Ryan, but I told you, listen, my thing is Ryan said Westbrook ankle healed real fast when he was about to go after those fans.
That's true. That is true. It definitely did. Yeah, that was Daddy though. I know he was turned up. It took like 4 bullets to hold him back. He was really trying to go.
Yeah, he wanted the malice in the palace.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I'm glad they held him back though.
Westbrook ain't about no action. He one of them fake dudes.
No, he's not. He a real.
He's not no thug.
He a real G. He a real G.
He ain't no Drew Westbrook.
Go down to the game and throw popcorn on Westbrook, and I guarantee you.
All right, so listen.
You gonna come here like this? I didn't know he was a real thug.
No,
all your jaw gonna be wired through the wire.
Westbrook is the textbook bull. Like, y'all better hold me. I'm gonna kill him. Like, that's every time you see that. Like when fans talking stuff, he sit there and he be talking all this, that, and other. Then when people get in front of him, it's like, what? He ain't never about no smoke. Like AI told us years ago, most of the dudes in the NBA is corny and they not about that action.
Yeah, I believe Westbrook is smart enough not to go off on camera in front of somebody. But I believe if you caught Westbrook in a dark alley with you and him, and he had to go through you to get out, he gonna go through you to get out.
He do too many eye rolls. He do too many eye rolls to think he's tough. He like,
no, that's hard. That's hard. That's hard with all the eye rolls. That's hard be doing the eye rolls. But I mean, that was nutty though. That was nutty. Hopefully, they kick that fan out and never to come back in the stadium, because you don't treat athletes like that. You don't treat people who performing. They performing for us. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? They put on the show like you don't do that.
Wait a minute. What to say? May 16th. Ethan said they might lose to the Wiz. And I'm about to screenshot it and send it to the chat.
Okay, I recant everything I said about Ethan not saying this.
Screenshot it. I never said they was going to lose.
Huh?
Do it. I never said they was going to lose.
You said what?
I never said they was going to lose.
You said I
never said. Hold on. I never said they were going to lose. We just talked about it on the pod. We talked about it on the pod, my guy. I said they might win 5 or 6. I said they'll win 5. I'm thinking they'll win 5. I said maybe 6.
Okay, so let me ask you this: Did you ever say we might lose to the Wiz?
I said I never said we're going to lose to the Wizards.
Did you ever say we might lose to the Wiz?
I never said we're going to lose to the Wizards. Like, how many times you want to ask the question?
Answer the question.
Did you say we might lose to the Wizards? It's on the pod.
Did you say we might lose to the pod?
On another note, the Knicks just won, so they evened the series against Atlanta. So that's a good thing. We need that series to go long because that's the next opponent. So I want them to go 7. So
take a look at that, Ephraim. Take a look at that.
Let me confirm. Let me confirm this off for all y'all. All right. They might lose to the Wiz. Then Wayne says, then I can't wait for the Wiz to give them all they can handle. LOL. Remember that. And then he started talking about Celtics, I think, or something. But yeah, now I would say this.
So Wayne says, I can't wait for the Wiz to give them all they can handle.
No, hold up. That might not even be the one. That might have been you talking about.
No. Now he backing up.
What?
Now he backtracking?
What? Backtracking what?
Now you backtracking. You just said I can't wait for the Wiz to give them all they can handle.
No, but that was LOL. That was a little trolling with that. He said LOL.
Yeah, exactly.
His was trolling.
So Ephraim, did I not just ask him? Did he ever say that we might lose to the Wiz? And he started politicking.
I never said we're going to lose to the Wizards. I'm on here. Why do you keep beating the dead horse? I never said that.
We might. Did you say we might?
I never said we're going to lose to the Wizards.
Did you say might? Did you ever use the word might?
I never said we're going to lose to the Wizards.
Ethan has become the new politician. Ethan has become.
What are you beating the dead horse for? I never said we're going to lose to the Wizards.
Congressman.
Congressman Ethan.
The distinguished gentleman.
Congressman Ethan. We trying to get a bill signed.
Listen, we all over the pod. I never said. Did you ever hear me on the? Anybody ever hear me on the pod say we're going to lose to the Wizards? I never said that.
Matter. It doesn't matter what you said on the pod.
Dudes is reaching. Come on, y'all beating a dead horse.
So what do y'all think the series is going?
Keep the combo going.
Do this for 4 or 5.
Listen, all right. Ethan said we're gonna lose, but let's look past that.
The series is gonna lose.
The series is going 4 games. Like I said, it's not going anywhere past that. If like I said, the best chance they had to win was 1 and 3, because
if Westbrook is hurt still Saturday, because remember he messed up his ankle. I don't know how bad it is.
You know what? If Westbrook hurt, that might give him a better chance to win if he hurt.
Why you figure?
No, seriously though, they just don't have enough size. And this is my reason with the Sixers, where I say against most teams. Now I will give y'all this, especially Ephraim, you've been saying about the Bucks. The Bucks do have the size, and they have shooters. So that probably would be the toughest matchup, in my opinion. I know everybody nervous about the Nets and everything.
Oh, whoa. Time out.
Tim, stop.
I'm tossing the flag. I'm about to get back into my uniform. You was talking about you every time I brought up the Bucks. You don't want I ain't scared no Bucks.
And didn't I just say that?
The Bucks you talking about?
And didn't I just say didn't I just say I'm conceding that now? See, it's a difference. When you realize that you might have mistaken, you say I was wrong with that, and I readjust my thinking. That's what I'm saying.
That's what you did. Well, it took you a long time.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. And looking at it now, but that's why the Nets wasn't ever the ones that scared me as much as it did other people, because the Nets don't have that size.
The Nets came alive yesterday. Did y'all see the game?
They playing Boston, a depleted Boston team, man. Stop.
But they was bombing.
We playing the Nets.
The big three.
I mean, we playing Washington.
Okay.
But the big three. The boy Joe Harris.
Who does the Nets have that's going to compete with Embiid?
Who do we have? Hold on. See, listen, I was on here before. I don't think we can beat the Nets in 7. Now, you heard it from me here. Ooh. I don't see us beating the Nets in 7. Unless, I'm going to say this, unless Ben Simmons plays every game like he played tonight.
I think he will.
I can agree with that.
Simmons had to play like he played tonight, I don't think we will win. Because if I really rather have the Ben Simmons that's getting 15 assists, that's passing the ball out to 3-point shooters, because we're going to need to score more. If we count on Ben Simmons getting dunks, getting 2 points, and we know the Nets got a bombs away team, if this is what we're counting on to beat them, then I don't. No,
I'm gonna tell you why you wrong. I would agree, Ethan. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the Ben, and this is what I always used to say about Steph Curry, right? One of the things that irritated me a little bit about Steph.
Podcast.
Listen, and we're going to talk about that earlier, because it's a travesty that we're not seeing him play in this playoffs. And I had to take a show off because I was in mourning. But this is
or at the beach, but go ahead.
This is what I say. When Steph Curry used to go and shoot all the jump shots, all right, he can hit it, but a lot of times you don't defend her out. When you get aggressive and start going to the hole, now it's a chance you get defenders in foul trouble. What we need, Ben, is to put the pressure on Kyrie, put the pressure on Harden, get them in a position where they may even get in foul trouble. Now you can take them off the court for a couple extended minutes because they picked up 2 or 3 early quick fouls. So now they got to sit down. This is why this Ben, the way he played today, is going to be huge. If he plays like this against the Nets, I agree. It's the only way we win. I don't think we win with Ben with the 6 points and the 10, 12 assists and 10, 12 rebounds. Nah. I think we're going to need the aggressive Ben, at least scoring 18 to 20 points a game, possibly getting them little dudes in foul trouble. Kyrie, when he tries to stick him, take him and tiring them out. It's a huge advantage in wearing somebody down. You know, they talk about that all the time on the TV broadcast. Wearing your opponent down, putting him in the post, making him put his arms on you. That takes away their shots. When they put their arms on you, now they fatigue. Now their shots start coming up short. Now their legs is weak. Ben gonna need to be aggressive.
So who would you rather see, Bucks or Nets?
Nets.
I think I'd rather see the Nets too.
I'd rather see the Nets too.
If I agree, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I'm convinced that the Bucks is a different team than last year. But once again, Miami's best chance to win any game is when they play tomorrow. Their first game at home. That's Miami's best chance to win. If Miami don't win their game 3, that series is clean over and mess around be a sweep.
Yeah.
And we email said Embiid is the X factor because the Nets have no one to match up with him.
That's the point. That's the point that I've been making about the Sixers and the Nets. So, and the Sixers do have wing defenders that can make stuff difficult. Not saying they can stop any of them, but they can make things difficult for the Nets perimeter players. So, but the Nets have they got a deep squad. I'm saying at least they looking deep against, Fat Harden and old Blake was fake out.
They was definitely either got kicked out.
They was trying to fake out to get out of there to join up with the Nets. All of a sudden they get the Nets. All of a sudden Blake knees is working. He could dunk on everybody. Harden.
They said he never dunked at all in Detroit this year, and he has like 18 with the Nets, and he had 19 of them. And 18 of them yesterday.
Yeah, he would definitely listen. Either he started roiting when he got to the Nets, or he was faking. Either one of the two happened. Either he taking some kind of performance enhancing, some Andro Max, or some HGH or something, or he was outright faking because he definitely looking like a total different player. But I would like to say I was continue to be thoroughly impressed with Bradley Beal. That bull got game.
We got to find a way to work it in and to get him here with Ben and Embiid.
I agree. Now, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Would you sacrifice Toby for Bradley Beal?
No. And the way Toby's playing now, I don't.
Tim?
That's a good question. I don't know how. I don't know how to answer it. The thing is, I may, but I would have to find somebody comparable to not as far as points, but somebody his size, because we need somebody 6'8" or 6'9" in that position, and then I will go with Beal.
Then they need to go ahead. They should have been developing Paul Reed this year.
That's what I'm saying. But here I think we got 3 different people that can fill in next year. I think that's a significant role in our team. Maxey can come in and take the place of Seth. Paul Reed can come in at that power forward position.
I think Maxey's more of a replacement for Shake, in my opinion. Like,
and I hate that. I kind of
like Ephraim. The point that Ephraim was making earlier, he's shooting at a 40% clip. Even this year, as bad as he struggled at times this year, he's still shooting a 40% clip. And for his career, he's shooting at that. So Maxey to me is not that type of shooter, but I could see Maxey taking. That's why I wish Shake played better. Like, we would have had components to make trades. You know what I'm saying? If some of these guys would have played, and I wish that we would have had Paul Reed play more. I know some people gonna say you always hyping Paul Reed, but every time he gets on the court, he produces.
I agree.
Yeah, but he's producing garbage time. He's not playing against any starter.
To me,
he dominated the G League.
That I was about to say that's
against the other young boys.
Listen, it's remember the Bull. See, y'all don't watch a lot of Golden State. I watch almost all Golden State games, obviously. The Bull Jordan Poole came in. He's a second-year player. He's playing shaky the first half of the season. They sent him down to the G League. He came back with a vengeance. He now, I'm telling you, next year he messed around and win the Sixth Man of the Year. I guarantee.
Well, the general manager of Golden State said he was wrong about Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole? What you mean wrong? Like good or bad wrong?
Good, like he was wrong. Like I guess he thought he was. He didn't realize how good he was.
Yes, I'm saying. And they sent him down there. He got his mind right a little bit. Came back to the G League, and he been balling. So I think the same thing is true of Reed. Just because if you go out to the G League, granted the talent is less, but if you dominating, that show me you ready for the next level. Now I'm not going to say you're going to dominate in the league, but you at least probably going to put a pretty good showing in. So I agree with Wayne, but you know what irritates me? I hate to go back down memory lane, but this is why I'm still and will probably forever be irked. When we traded Mikal Bridges.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Because Mikal Bridges would have been Tobias Harris spot. You wouldn't have been paying him yet the $140 million, whatever Tobias making. You wouldn't have paid him that yet. And then you could have used that money to probably go get a Bradley Beal.
You know who I think Mikal Bridges would have been more of?
I'm just saying, not like Tobias, but he would have been in that spot.
But he would have been a better Danny Green. Like that spot up shooter with the defense. He would have been like a younger version. And
taller. And taller. He's 6'7".
Hey, listen, hold up. I gotta address my man. Listen, easy money. Listen. Don't let them because they sit there because I stood up for Ben. Ben is not my player. I've ripped Ben for years. Back when they were saying Ben Simmons was going to be the guy on this team, lead the team, and some of us on here were saying trade Embiid and build around Ben Simmons. I argued Embiid was the better player. My whole point is, and I used to say, like when they had the shooting videos, I was like, yeah, Ben Simmons is going to be the top 3-point guard in the league. This is what I thought then. He can't shoot. But what I'm looking at now is I'm not going to say Ben Simmons is trash. People want to say Ben Simmons is trash. He's not trash. He gives you something. He brings something to the court. He's not the great scorer everybody wants him to be, evidently, but he brings a lot to the court. And that's why Doc and the other Sixers, after the last game, other Sixers were sitting up there saying Ben Simmons brings a lot to the game, and they appreciate what he brings to the game.
That's true. I mean, well, listen, I'll give you a lot of flack for Ben, but I know where you're going with that most of the time. My only thing is why I think with all I hate, you try to sometimes overcompensate for some other things that Ben do, which I understand. I do the same thing for people I like, so I ain't mad at you. But I had to call my man Ali out. He said I can't get through a pod without mentioning stuff. Listen, let's go.
How you gonna call something out that's true?
I am, but that's why I'm calling it out, because now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the elephant in the room real quick. We have gotten robbed. We as basketball fans, and this is all of us who like ball, have gotten robbed. For the fact that you can't see the greatest shooter in history playing.
I like John Morant. I like what they're doing in Memphis. So I don't feel like I've been robbed. I feel like watching up-and-coming young bulls ball.
You've been robbed. You've been robbed for the simple fact that you couldn't watch the hottest player in the NBA in the past couple years. He had one of the best months you probably ever going to see. He's the greatest shooter in history. He was wielding his team to victory. And now he had to play against which would have been the number one team in the league, or the number two at worst with the Lakers, fully healthy, because that's when he met them before with the 8th playing game. Then he had to go against a hot Memphis team after just a gut-wrenching loss to the Lakers, and they lost by 3. They had to play Memphis, and they get outed. And now we missed the opportunity to see him at least in a 4, 5, 6, 7 game series. It's a travesty. It's a loss for all of us.
Can I ask you this? Did you feel the same way about Dame Lillard last year?
What you mean, Dame Lillard?
Because Bubble Dame was balling, and he was giving out all work, but they didn't make it they didn't make it because
yes, they did.
But they made it in the playoffs. I thought they just
played. No. Do you think about Phoenix? Phoenix didn't make it.
Oh yeah. My bad.
They went 8-0 and missed the playoffs when the Bull what's his name? Devin Booker was balling, but Bubble Dame made it. They lost to the Lakers. Man, they beat the Lakers the first game, and then the Lakers swept them on out of there.
And that Negro, I like his screaming. He said, Ben is frustrating because we can all see what he can be, but his mentality stops him from being that player. And I agree. Ben could probably be the best player in the game if he wanted to.
That's where the frustration comes in at.
But this is the point I try to continue to make with y'all. we forget how young these guys are. Just because some guys can flourish early, like you see Luka Doncic at 22 doing all this. But think about everybody. As much as everybody loved Jimmy and hyped Jimmy did like 4 years of college, and it still wasn't until like his 4th year in the pros till he became the Jimmy that everybody knew. So, and even Tobias didn't really start balling like Tobias until like 2 years ago. He's like, what, 28 now? So you talking about
like
what,
this season.
But this is what I'm saying. We forget sometimes because these guys come into the league so early.
But I mean, all right, that's true and all. But how many of them with number 1 picks? That's the caveat. And I know what you're saying. It shouldn't matter when you got picked, but it does. The fact of the matter is that you got picked number 1 because your quick rise potential was supposed to be more of an immediate impact. It's like LeBron. When you picked LeBron number 1, you didn't expect LeBron to take 6 years to be great. You expected him to be great at least in year 2. You wanted him to get through the first year, and then year 2, he was supposed to show you why he was the number 1 pick, and he did. Ben, everybody had aspirations. Not everybody, but myself, Ethan included, my blood. He expected Ben to be at least baby Bron, and he didn't even give us Birdie Bron. He gave us like embryo Bron. That's what he gave us.
That's not true. Y'all go overboard in y'all hatred. I'm gonna call Kwame Brown on YouTube now. I'm gonna have Kwame. He gonna do a video of you tonight.
I don't want no smoke. He got too much time on his hands, man. I don't want no smoke.
See, this is my thing about when we talk about number 1 pick, right? And this is one of the reasons why I've had as many debates with the Latsons. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put y'all last name, but most people know. But the brothers,
the Curry twins,
because these were the same people who was arguing, fighting tooth and nail for Fultz. And some of the other people that would rip Fultz was like, he was the number 1 pick, he a bust. And I made the same argument for Fultz. My thing was, I don't care where he was picked, he's still not trash. I don't think that he's worse than TJ McConnell. That's the whole point that I'm making. See, sometimes we get caught into what our expectations of somebody is going to be. But
I agree. But Fultz is a little different. You gotta remember, and let me clarify this. When we argue for Fultz, it wasn't that we were saying Fultz was or wasn't a bust. We were saying he didn't get the opportunity. Remember, Brett Brown kept yanking him in and out the lineup. Oh, yeah. He started him, then wouldn't start him. He started in the first half, wouldn't start in the second half. He was doing goofiness with him. So I'm like, all right, I know he had a little bit of injury, but he only played 33 games as a Sixer. So everybody was calling him a bust. Everybody was calling him a scrub, mentally retarded, and all this other stuff. And he never really got a chance. And that's why I was like, Dad, you gave somebody like TJ McConnell 4 years as a starter. He had like at least 2 or 3 as a starter, and but 4 whole years to flourish, to really become an NBA player. And he eventually did. He got Indiana looking halfway decent, looking respectable. But that was my thing with Markelle Fultz. I didn't believe he had a legit, true chance as the number 1 draft pick. So why would you draft somebody number 1 to only give him 33 games? And then when he finally starts, when he's ready to start, then you start yanking him out the lineup. It was goofy. It was goofy. I ain't like it at all.
Somebody said, why you dropping government names?
But speaking of
call me Tekashi.
Speaking of Kwame, right? Kwame now has messed it up forever for light-skinned bulls, man. I don't like how he did this. Now everybody light-skinned bull is gonna be referred to as Becky with the good hair now. Like
Becky with the no hair.
Yeah, you can't do that to us, man. He messed up a whole generation.
That ain't going away no time soon either.
No, that's his name now.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we talk about the number 1 seed with stuff too, the number 1 pick, I mean, you also got to look at what the draft year was. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
You don't always have a LeBron James in the draft. You don't always have a Kevin Durant. I mean, Kevin Durant went second behind Greg Oden. I was wrong with that because I swore the big man was going to be the one. I was dead wrong with that.
Yeah, but I agree.
But you don't always have a dominant number 1 pick. Like, who else was in the draft when they drafted Bennett? When the Cavs drafted Bennett, you know what I'm saying? Like, even when the Cavs drafted Wiggins, that's the same draft B came out. And the other guy.
But Ben, now Markelle, you right. And most drafts, even in Markel draft, he shouldn't have been number one. It should have been Tatum. I didn't watch college basketball much that year, but I went back and watched the highlights. This is before we even traded Markel. This is shortly after we kind of drafted him. And I clearly saw in the highlights, I watched both their highlights, and highlights is your best plays throughout your career. In my opinion, it was no doubt we should have got Tatum. I was completely confused why we made that pick after I just watched the highlights. But
we wasn't able. Boston knew that we wanted to draft folks. They wasn't going to trade us the number one pick if we was going to take Tatum.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Why you even make the trade to go up number one when you knew, when you should have known Tatum? All right, let's look at the spec.
We should have gaffled them the same way that they gaffled Brett when we
should have.
We should have. That's exactly what we did. We should have faked them out and still drafted Tatum with the number one pick. But I mean, if you look at it, Tatum came from Duke. One of the best basketball schools in the country. He was
either for the most part.
His game was more polished. You could tell his game was more polished than Tatum. Than Markel's coming in. And to boot, he was 3 inches taller and just as athletic. So I'm like, why? Why would you even go that route? It was like when we traded, and I know why we did it, but it was like when we traded Mikal Bridges for the Bulls, Zaire Smith. Zaire Smith was what, 6'3", 6'4"? Mikal Bridges is 6'7". It's like when the Eagles drafted Ortega-Whiteside instead of drafting the new Megatron Bull.
We're about to lose like 10 viewers just by mentioning the Eagles.
My thing is, I'm looking at the specs here. Like, what are you looking at?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we traded. Even when you think about when we traded Mikal Bridges. Remember, Brett was coming out talking about some Zaire Smith. He's like a Kawhi Leonard type. He was trying to hype it because that's what they were supposed to be trying to trade him.
Yeah, I know.
To the Spurs to bring in Kawhi. So they got him. But that's just like, honestly, when Ben Simmons was drafted, I wasn't for them drafting Ben Simmons. I wanted Ingram because I felt like the Sixers needed a shooter more than they needed anything else. And if I'm not mistaken, I think, didn't we still have, what's his name? As a point guard, the one that won Rookie of the Year. Did we still have him that year before we got Ben?
Carter Jr., Michael Carter.
I don't think we had him no more.
We had somebody that was playing that I felt like we had a point guard. I just needed
Ish Smith. I think we had Ish.
Yeah. That's what it was. And I just thought we needed a shooter more because that's what everything was talking about. The Sixers need a shooter, and then we got a dude that couldn't shoot. It made no sense to me at the time.
I think in most drafts, though, I think Ben still would have been a very high draft pick.
Yeah, I agree. All right, y'all, we're going to wrap this thing up because we'll be back Saturday after the game. We got a 7 o'clock start time. We'll be in D.C., so I'm looking forward to that game. Don't forget to go out to Twitter. We're giving away at the end of the series. It looks like it's going to be a sweep. So after the next 2 games, hopefully we'll be giving y'all one of our T-shirts. And so all we want you to do is just like the page, retweet it, and then y'all win.
Listen, I want to know because I'm looking at our page. Who gave us a thumbs down? Say something in the comments. Why you give a thumbs down? What you
did? It was either email or Ali. Because I talked about Steph.
It was probably Ethan.
Ethan got on there
because he was mad we exposed him about saying the Wizards were going to win. Yeah. Jordan M. Peck said.
Wait, real quick. Let me say that because that's my homie Ethan. This what I'm saying. Ethan sometimes he just get caught up in the moment and be talking trash. That's the only reason why I was calling him out for it though, because he tried to act like he ain't never say it. But he's a Sixers.
I forgot. I
and he always runs with the Sixers. But sometimes he get a little chicken little when he get a little
No, but his defense, I think we all do. Like when we argue a point, we argue that point to our own demise, to our own detriment sometimes.
Oh, we all do.
And we start throwing stuff out there, and then next thing you know, like that, when I was arguing for Draymond being better than Ben, I say he better than Ben defensively, but I still think overall I would take.
You change up every week.
No, I said that.
You change up every
No, I remember earlier in the podcast.
Weeks ago, you were saying that you take Draymond. Period.
I said I take Draymond. I take Draymond defense, but I take Ben because Ben is a better offensive player than me.
Like I said, you switch up. Thanks for liking.
But on the end note,
stop trying to cut us off.
I am cutting y'all off. I'm cutting you off.
We got to tell you.
Thank you.
Somebody
say in the comment section, Tim, fall back. But Jordan M. Peck says we might blow them out again in game 3 and 4, and I
totally agree with that. But listen, like, comment, and subscribe. We will see y'all Saturday.
Yeah, we gonna blow them out because Westbrook.